guys, hope you are doing good. Today's session we will going to install and configure secondary domain controller. Secondary domain control is very important in every IT infrastructure because the reason, if primary domain control having any kind of issue, sometime it's have happen some kind of issue generated, you can just power on the secondary DC, secondary domain controller, and you can just need to transfer all the vmware role to the secondary DC. So guys, if you are first time viewer on my channel, please like, share and subscribe. So let's start the installation. And we start the process of secondary DC. So I will going to install the secondary DC in my EXI 7 server. So you can check over here, I am using EXI virtualization hypervisor. So just click on virtual machine. Once you will click on virtual machine, there is a option create /registered VM. So I will go to click on create virtual machine. There is a one option. First option you need to select it and leave as it is default, create new virtual machine. Just click on create new virtual machine. Here you need to assign the name as DC, secondary DC. So I have selected the assign the name to the secondary DC, and the virtual machine is EXI 7. So you need to here select the operating system. Operating system will be Windows. So I have selected the operating system. Once you have selected the operating system, you need to select the also operating system version. So I will select the operating system version will be 2022 64-bit. Just click on next, and here you need to select the storage. So storage, my storage is VMS virtual machine file system VMS virtual machine file system VMFS. So I have the free disk is this capacity data store. The storage is, so just need to click on next. Once you will click on next, you will jump to the virtual hardware section, and here I will going to select assign the CPU and hard memory and hard disk to the virtual machine. So I will assign here the 6 CPU to this virtual machine, secondary DC virtual machine. I will assign this virtual machine 8 GB RAM virtual memory, which you can call, or 250 to other, or you can assign 200 GB of hard disk. So you just need to click, you can check our network adapter is already connected. I am only selecting one network adapter, and you need to select the here ISO file. Just click on ISO file, and you need to select there is an option here. You need to, if you don't have uploaded the data store ISO file, you just need to click on and browse from your computer, and just click to close, and you need to select the Windows Server 2022 which you have selected, which I am selected here. So once you have selected, and you need to overview and check the detail of virtual machine, and it's ready to complete. You just need to press finish. Once you have pressed finish, so you can check over here on top, virtual machine secondary DC was successfully created. You can check over here, secondary your DC is created successfully. Second, I have created a secondary DC. So just click on secondary DC, and you need to, here you already have selected the ISO file. So just need to power on the virtual machine. Once you have power on 2022, its installation is started. So I will going to select the required things. So language, you need to select your language. I already selected, and the time zone will be default, or keyboard will be US, and just press to click next. Once you will press to click next, just press click next the installation. So install now, there is a option here install. Just press on install now. Once you will press install now, the setup is starting. Windows installation setup is starting. You need to wait little. it once its installation is started. So Windows Server installation taking little time. So I will going to install Windows Server evaluation and data center, whatever required with whatever license you are having you can install. I will going to install desktop version. So just click on desktop version, just click, and once you have selected, just click to next. Operating system, types of operating system you need to select here. Once you have selected type of operating system, the applicable notice, license, term and condition, you just need to accept. So I will just making it as a demo purpose or the teaching purpose, so you need to bother about the license key. Just click on next. So you need to select the you need to select the custom Microsoft server operating system. This only I will go for the advanced space. You need to select your operating system. So just press on new, just click on apply, and here Microsoft Server operating system setup, just press OK. Once you will press OK, you can check over it will create the partitions, which partition you are having. These are the partition 1 to 3 partition will be create. So just click on next. Once you will click on next, so installation is started. Windows Server 2022 secondary domain controller is started. You need to wait little more. Once installation is started, over here installation Microsoft Server is mostly completing installation. So here it will be installation update and finish. Once it will be finished, I will go to the further to discuss. So and let me wait. So do you know so here you can check over here Microsoft Server operating system need to restart. The first time once we have completed the installation, if you are talking about Windows Server and if you are talking about Windows operating system, first time it will be restart after the installation. So you can check over here my Windows Server 2022 is restarted. I need so here I will what other thing we are going to follow. So first thing I will going to follow to assign the static IP to the Windows Server 22 and will join to the domain. Once we will going to join to the domain, and I will going to start installation process. Installation like a Active Directory, will manager, Windows Server Manager, and will install Active Directory, domain controller, Active Directory. Once Windows Server is restarted, here you need to type the password of the secondary domain controller. And as you are aware about that, Windows Server having always default username is administrator. So you need to type the password for the secondary DC. Here I am typing the password of secondary DC. And just press finish. Once you have typed reconfirm the password, just click to finish. And so once you the secondary domain controller is started, now you can log in with the credential which you have entered. So I will type the credential which I have entered over here. So now I will going to add the static IP and will join to the domain controller. So you need to type here shortcut. I will mostly use the shortcut keys to easy, and it will be fast, very fast to understand, very easy steps. So I will jump to the domain controller secondary. So type here sysdm.cpl. First thing I will going to add the static IP. Sorry for that. ncpa that is ncpa.cpl is a shortcut command to open network infrastructure. Just press enter. You can check over here, new network infrastructure is appear, network connection, which you can call property. Go to the properties, go to the internet protocol version 4 TCP IP4. You need to assign the static IP. So you need to type the static IP. I will assign this static IP 12.250 and another IP. So here I will assign the gateway. Guys, this is the only session only for the purpose of education, and go to the type the, and you can also use this as a purpose of your IT infrastructure. If you will follow the same thing, you can easily configure the domain controller. In my previous video I have a configure domain controller, and in this video I will configure as a additional domain controller. It's very important. If you didn't apply the additional domain controller, please do first thing you need to apply the add the additional domain control. You don't need to worry about the data, your IT infrastructure downtime. If you are having additional domain controller, that's a few things which you need to follow only. And here I will apply my DNS 1 2, then 2. Here my primary DNS is this, and secondary will be 192.168.12 and 1, and just press OK. So finally you are having this static IP. Just press yes, and you need to check the IP address. You need to make sure what IP address you are getting. IP config all. You are getting this IP address. So current which you have configured. So now the next thing which we need to join to the domain sysvm.cpl. Just press enter. You will jump to the system properties, and now the thing is here that there is an option rename the computer. Yes, I will going to rename and change the thing. You just need to click on change and click on member of. And here you need to assign the computer name. So I will assign the my SDC secondary domain controller. I will here assign the my local domain. So now the thing is we need to apply here, assign the administrator password of domain primary domain controller. Just because I'm joining to the primary domain controller, here it will ask. So here I'm typing administrator and the password. It's up to you, whatever password. And now the server will be restart. And also one thing I will need to apply here I need to enable the remote connection. Okay, here is the process. You need to just allow the connection and press to apply, and you need to press on restart. Once you will restart your server, secondary server will be restart. For now I am stopping the. And guys, one more thing, you can also connect your EXI server to your virtual VMware workstation, like the same which we are going to connect. Select, and here you need to type, here you can check over here, connect to the server. You just need to press on connect file. Go to the file, press to connect to the server here, and you need to type the here server name. Server name will be what is your server EXI host name. So this is the my EXI host name 3, and here will be the password, and here will be the password is true, and here username and password. Once you will type here, you will jump to this environment. This is a virtual environment. So here you can check over here my SDC is here. So here I will going to type the password of my domain controller. So I will go to the again the main screen, so it's more clear. And I'm typing here the password of my secondary domain controller. And now I will check here from remotely access mstsc and the IP address of domain controller. Just press OK, and here I will need to type the password. First I have typed the username and password and remember it. Just press yes. Once you know you have connected remotely, and so you can check over here successfully you have joined to the domain. Which domain? sysdm.cpl. Now you are going to jump to the system properties. You have successfully joined to the domain controller. And now the other thing which we are going to know, I will going to jump to the server manager. So click to server manager. So you have jumped to the server manager. Now you will going to install Active Directory, domain controller, which we are going to Active Directory, domain controller, DHCP, DNS. What is the required thing we need to? First thing which we are going to, I need to install the Active Directory. First thing which we are going to follow. Just press here. Once you have launched to the server manager, just press add role and features. So here you can check what before you begin you need to rectify the thing. So role based features, I will going for the role based feature based installation. Just click on role based, and this is the server which you are going to select. This is the my server name. So this is the IP. So just press on next. So here I will going to select the Active Directory domain services, which we are going to install. Active Directory domain service. Just click on Active Directory domain. Once you have select the Active Directory, and it will be default install DNS. Just press add the feature. Once you have pressed the add the feature, you just need to go to the next screen, or if you want to select, you can just select DNS. Also just click DNS if you want to install DHCP, because if you are having already installed DHCP in your primary domain control, you don't need to install DHCP. Otherwise you can also download install the DHCP. So I'll not going to install the DHCP over here, or you can also download. Just need to select, if you want to you can select the DHCP also. Just click to add DHCP. So just press. Now you have selected what other thing which I have selected. I have selected domain service, Active Directory, and DHCP and DNS. Just click. Now you need to jump to the feature based authentication. For feature based authentication is already selected group policy management, group policy. So group policy, you are, as you are aware about the GPO group policy object, you just need to here feature. Just click on next. So Active Directory domain services, which we are going to jump to the Active Directory domain services. So just click to next again, and here you need to domain name system, which you are aware about. The domain name system is the method of name server, conversion of IP address to name server. So just click on next again. Or again DHCP, as you aware about the dynamic host control protocol, which once you have connected to the any network environment, if there is a enable DHCP server, you will automatic get the new IP to the device. If you are having mobile device or any device, you will get a new IP address. So just click on next. Now the thing which you are going to install, you press on install. Install the confirm and install the selection of all the Active Directory, DHCP and DNS and group policy. Just press on install. Once you have pressed install, it take little time to installation. So we just need to wait for the once installation. So you can check over here, installation is started on the sdc this domain, this is the my local domain where we are going to install the additional domain control, which additional domain control you can say additional domain controller, secondary domain controller, and backup domain controller, you can say. And benefit, you are already aware about the benefits of domain controller. We need to little wait. Once installation is done, once installation is done, will going to launch the domain controller, and we will going to join to the existing domain controller. So I need to wait little more, or need to stop the video for now. You can check over here, installation process is completed. Now I will going, there is a two option. From the installation you can just promote the domain controller from here. On you, if you want to DHCP configure, you just configure, because we already have the DHCP, we don't need to configure now. And you can just press here, promote this server as a domain controller, or here you can just, this is the flag, here you can check over here, this is the process. You can here you can also check with this. So just press on promote this domain controller. Once you will press on promote this domain controller, there is an option here, you can check over here, add the domain controller existing domain. Yes, I will going to add the domain controller in my existing domain. Yes, I will going to add the domain controller in my existing domain. Just click select, and if you want here, you need to change the administrator username, and here will be the password, and just press OK. You can check over here, the user is changed, and you need to click on select. You need to select the domain, local domain. Once you have select the local domain, press OK. And here I have already changed the performance. I have changed already changed the credential of the server, of the secondary server, which I have selected the primary server over here, but and selected the primary in secondary server. I have selected the primary server. So just click on next over here. Once you will click on next, you will jump to the domain functional. You can say it's a like a backup point of a domain controller. You can say like that, DSRM. We need to assign the DSRM unique password, or why DSRM is required. Because DSRM always keeping one server image stored separately. If we are going to facing any kind of issue of primary or secondary domain controller, and from DSRM we can we can start a server in a safe mode, maintenance mode, and we can restore our domain controller from safe mode. So I need to type here password and assign the password to the DSRM. I need to restore the password. Password should be strong, guys. Password should be strong for privacy. So here you can check over here. Once you have typed the password DSRM, you will jump to the DNS option. You just don't need to click on anything. You don't need to update any DNS delegation. Just click on next. Once you will click on next, you will jump to the any domain controller. So which domain controller you need to select? Here you need to select the domain controller. This domain controller. Which domain controller you are going to select? You need to select the primary domain controller. So I have selected the primary domain controller. Just click on next. And here this is the also important, guys. This is the also important. Here is the database folder, and sys volume folder and log folder. All the database is stored in the entities, and log file is stored in the ntds, and sys volume folder will be stored of sys volume. So this is the also important. You should, if you want to customize, you can customize the folder just or leave as it is default. Mostly sys engineer and system admins leave as it is default. Just click on next, and so once you will click on next, you can check the review or selection, select the review or selection, and just need to press next. And now you need to install. It will check the all prerequisite check pass successfully. So just press on install. Once you will press on install, the installation process is started for the additional domain controller. And let's discuss about sys volume and database log. Do you know this user and computer accounts and group, you can say ntdsdit is the backbone of any active directory domain controller. So you can check over here. I will going to first, I think I will going to sign out from, and it will, my server will be restart. And now again okay, just press OK. Installation done. You can check there will be a two domain controller will be appear. So go to the active directory, go to tools, open start server manager, go to tools. There will be an option over here, active directory and user computer. Just press active directory, user and computer, because now I am on secondary domain controller. So just press this your local domain. You can check over here, all the organizational unit will be appear in your secondary domain controller. And you can, if you want to, you can check the how many domain controller currently you are having. It will be two domain controller. It will be primary and secondary. So you can check over here, this is the primary domain controller and this is the secondary domain. If you want to check on the primary domain controller, you go to the primary domain controller. This is my primary domain controller, and you need to jump to the active directory. Just go to the active directory. This is my primary. You can, this is the IP address of primary. So just click on domain controller. So you can check over here. Here you are getting two domain controller in primary and secondary. This is both. You are getting two domain controller. So just jump to the again the secondary domain controller. No other thing what we are doing now. We need to, what the other thing we need to check. The important thing, we will going to jump on active directory site and services. What other thing we are going to do? Go to active directory and site and services. You can check over here active directory sites and services. Just click on active directory. Now I will going to configure. Now I will going to configure all the tasks and schedule the domain controller. Just click on active directory sites and services in the secondary DC. So just click on active directory sites. There is a sites. Just click on sites, and you need to click on default first site name. Click on default first site name. There is a server option. Just click on server. Here is the primary domain controller, and here is the secondary domain controller. Which domain controller you are going to select? I will going to select the secondary domain controller. Just click on secondary domain controller and just click on NTDS. And right click on NTDS and click on all tasks. Once you will click on all tasks, there is a option check replication topology. You just check the replication topology. Just click on replication topology. You can check over here has check replication. You need to refresh the site on container. Just press and refresh the site in container. So you can check over here. You can check over here. You are getting the primary domain controller in Active Directory site and services primary domain controller. So same thing you need to apply on primary domain controller. You need to go to the Active Directory sites and services. I will guide you in every single step. First step I will follow this, and second step whatever the required thing I will going to follow. Just close that and go to the server manager. Just maximize and go to the Active Directory site and services and click on expand the sites default server SDC. You are already configured SDC, so I will go to for in secondary DC. You should knew about that. In the primary DC you need to configure or create a topology for secondary DC, and in secondary DC you can need to create a topology for primary DC. So I need to create on topology and check the all tags and application. Here you can check the select the configuration from selected DC, yes, and check the topology. Just click on check the topology. Just click. Once you will click, you can check over here new topology is activated over here. So next step what we are going to check, and we need to, if you want, I will show to you create the OU and it will replicate to your primary and secondary DC. Both it will be replicate. You have check the topology of the primary and secondary domain controller. You just need to go to automatic generate. Just right click on automatic, and there is an option over here move or replicate. Just press on replicate now. Once you will here press the replication now, just check the here and the this is primary DC and this will be my secondary DC over here, which is this is my secondary DC. Again you need to apply replicate now. Just press on replicate now. So replication is started. I will tell you, so I will give you one more example for this. I will jump to the Active Directory user and computer. Go to the Active Directory user computer, go select the domain control, select the Active Directory user and expand. I will going to create a new OU. So just click go to the new, and there is a option organization unit, and it will replicate to your say primary domain control, because I am creating in secondary DC, and it will also replicate to your primary DC. So I will show to you here. Click on organization unit. So I will check here 20 sorry. So Shariksha I will create here. Otherwise I will create any other user. My nephew name Manu. So I will create here Manu. So just press next, and here you should aware about this also. User must change. I don't give the permission to the user, so user cannot change the password. Account is once I need to type here the password for the user and click to next and click to finish. And again I will going to create a new user. Just copy this Hanzu and will create again Hanzu. Just click next and save, and you need to type the password. And just press next. So I have created 2 users, and I will create one more user, and it will replicate to also my secondary domain controller, sorry, primary domain controller. So I will create copy this, and Shazu, this is my also my nephew. I will create a user. So it's just example I'm showing to you to easy to understand. So I have created a 3 user. What I have done, I have created the Active Directory user and computer in Windows Server 2022, one OU, then in 3 user. and it will replicate in your primary domain controller also. You can check, go to the primary domain controller. This is my primary domain controller, and close this, go to active directory and user and computer. Just refresh this, and you can check over here DXP branch is appear here, and these are the user is appearing in your domain controller, secondary domain controller, primary domain controller. And guys, the main thing which why do we require the secondary domain controller, you know, if there is anything happen in our IT infrastructure, we can just turn on the primary. We are having the backup, all the user backup, all the directory backup, all the user policies backup, all the user group policy, which we don't need to recreate again, regenerate again. And if there is any kind of issue on my primary domain controller, we can just power on the secondary domain controller, and from the secondary domain controller user will can serve whatever the required thing. As for once there is a issue on primary, we need to only transfer the FISMO role. 5 FISMO role is very important. In the next lecture I will cover, inshallah I will cover next lecture. My please like, share, subscribe guys. If you are having any kind of suggestion, please share. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.